Summer travel season is here! Some people think vacations are totally stress-free, but most of us, at least those looking for travel advice from a psychologist, know that vacations could be stressful. Everything from prepping to leave work, to packing and getting there and back can be a source of stress. And that doesn't even include what you're gonna do when you get there. In this video, I'm gonna break down the causes of vacation stress and tell you what you can do to maximize your rest and relaxation during the summer travel season. All right, vacation-related stress falls into three buckets. There's pre-vacation stress, during vacation stress, and post-vacation stress. We're covering all of it here. Timestamps are down below. Let's hit it. First, let's tackle pre-vacation stress. Planning and prepping for vacation can be a lot. So start planning early. A study by the American Psychological Association found that planning a vacation can lead to increased stress, especially if the details are complex or involve coordinating with multiple people. The more complex or the greater the number of people, the more runway you're going to want to have. Time is your friend here. A lot of people find it helpful to develop a list or a group of lists to help you get organized or guide your planning process. This information might be particularly helpful if you store it in a shared space if you're going on trips with other people. I use a Notion template to keep me organized and keep me on top of everything that I need to do. I'll link it in the description box below. There are many different ways that you can organize your lists, but I like to organize them by time. I like to have a list of things that I do immediately after I've finalized my trip. I have a list of things to do 30 days out, 1 week out, as well as the day of travel, which is really kind of the things that I do the day before, as well as the things that I do the morning of my departure. Think about this time that you're spending now handling travel logistics as a gift to your vacation self. The effort that you put in now lessens the stress you'll feel during your vacation. Another stressor that can be present before, during, and after vacation is the financial stress related to affording a vacation. The cost of vacation could be a significant source of stress even before you take one step out the door. A survey by Bankrate found that 60% of Americans feel stressed about affording vacation costs. I'll leave a link to this template in the description box down below, and while you're down there, consider subscribing to this channel. Stress is not sexy, and worries related to affording your vacation can dampen the excitement or increase anxiety related to your trip. And as a licensed clinical psychologist who focuses on wellness first personal productivity, that's the exact opposite of what we're trying to do here. Think twice about going into a debt, planning a vacation that you can't afford. Sometimes this is a matter of setting appropriate boundaries. Sometimes you're feeling pressure from family, friends, or other external parties to go on trips that you can't afford. Now, it isn't always easy, but it's important that you're able to develop the skills to be able to have frank discussions about your financial limitations. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that just yet, remember that you don't owe anyone an explanation about your current financial state. Another reason people might overspend on vacation is that they're overly concerned with impression management, also known as keeping up with the Joneses. If you're worried about what other people are thinking or how other people might judge you, try to keep in mind that most people are focused on themselves and not paying a whole lot of attention to what you're doing or what other people are doing. Choose a vacation that's consistent with your values and your wallet. The other elephant in the room when it comes to pre-vacation stress is work-related stressors. Managing workload and preparing to leave work could also be a significant source of stress for some people. Many people feel pressure to complete tasks before they go, or they worry about workload piling up in their absence. It can be so stressful that some people decide to skip vacations altogether. In the US, less than half of working adults feel like their organization's culture encourages employees to take time off, and only 38% said that their supervisor encourages them to take time off. So it makes sense that some people are stressed out thinking about taking a break from work. Here are some strategies to mitigate that pre-vacation work stress. First, let your work know you're planning a vacation as early as possible. This lets the company organize your schedule and your tasks to work around that time off. I use 30 days before my vacation as the time to start setting up backups and setting up alternative points of contact for my various projects. 30 days out allows me the time to get those people up to speed so that they have enough information to make decisions or answer questions in my absence. My last strategy for handling pre-vacation work-related stress can be somewhat controversial. Depending on your rank and position within the company, consider setting a logical but ruthless email away message. In my opinion, an effective email away message has 3 components. First, always list a POC on your away message. That's a point of contact that can answer questions or make decisions for a particular project or in a particular area. Secondly, tell people when they could expect a response from you. Are you going to set aside a day or 2 during your vacation to answer email? Or will you be responding to emails upon your return? Lastly, set appropriate expectations on how you'll handle their email upon your return. If you're worried about emails piling up when you're gone, you probably have the type of work that isn't going to allow you to answer all of your emails the moment you're back from vacation. So start setting appropriate expectations now. Here's a literal sample of one of my away messages. Hello, thank you for your email. I'm currently on leave with no access to email until July 31st. I'm so thankful to work for an organization that values and encourages time off for rest and relaxation. In a recent study, people in such organizations reported higher work-related motivation compared to those in organizations that don't encourage time off. They were also more likely to say that they were more productive and that their work quality is better. I'm looking forward to returning with a renewed sense of motivation and commitment to our mission. To ensure my vacation doesn't slow down organizational processes, please direct questions related to study protocols to Dr. Jane Goodwin. For questions related to new clients, please reach out to Mia Acenter at mia@productivitypsychologist.com. I will respond to remaining urgent and important emails upon my return. If you haven't received a reply from me by August 9th, please resend your email request. Thank you for your understanding and have a wonderful day. Best regards, Jamie. This type of email does 2 things. It explains to your bosses, employees, and coworkers the benefits that they will have as a result of your time off. You'll be refreshed and ready to get back to work. You'll be motivated and in a better mood. And it doesn't cause a disruption in service to your customers as you're letting them know what they can do in your absence. It's also setting appropriate expectations for how you'll handle work when you get back. The message that you're sending is that most things are going to be able to be handled by other people and won't fall through the cracks. But if there are things that require your individual attention, it's going to take a little bit of time for you to get fully up to speed. All right, let's move to stress related to actually going on vacation. Okay, you've planned your vacation, you've set an away message, and now you're all ready to step out the door and you realize you have to get there first. Travel, or actually getting to your destination, could be a huge source of stress. And that can come from a variety of places, starting with travel disruptions. Travel delays, cancellations, or other logistical issues can really stress you out. Flight disruptions are a common source of travel anxiety. So if you're traveling via air, consider booking a flight earlier in the day. According to Expedia's 2023 Air Travel Hacks report, flights departing in the morning are less likely to be delayed than those taking off in the late afternoon and evening. Based on flight status data, flights after 3 p.m. have a 50% higher chance of being canceled than those that depart earlier in the day. Early morning on-time performance might be due to thinner air traffic control problems experienced in the mornings. As Forbes explained, airspace tends to be less crowded in the morning, which minimizes delays with takeoffs and landings. Early morning flights have the added bonus of being less prone to turbulence. And depending on your destination, they might be less expensive. So early morning flights might be best for anxious or fearful flyers, and for those trying to keep vacation costs low. If you want to read an entire article on why you should book an early flight, I'll leave the Travel and Leisure article linked in the description box below, as well as all the research studies cited in this video. Alright, some of us are driving to our destinations. If you're driving, consider going against traffic. I've been known to go to bed at 7 p.m. for a 3 o'clock wake up just to avoid traffic on the 95. If at all possible, consider traffic patterns and plan around them. Google Maps has this really handy feature that allows you to see projected traffic for a specific date and time. Data is your friend here, and a little bit of pre-planning might be worth your effort. If you just know that traffic is unavoidable, reset your expectations and prepare yourself to be in the car, train, or bus for extended periods of time. Load up on podcasts, movies, or audiobooks that can help you pass the time. And it might also be nice to have a predetermined period of time or preset locations where you're planning on stopping. Will you stop every 2 hours, or will you stop when you hit exit 7A in the New Jersey Turnpike? Leave a comment down below if you know what's out there. Everything that we're doing here is preparing for the expected, because the more we use our mental energy and brain power now to prepare for the known knowns, the more brain power we'll be conserving when we inevitably hit those unknown, unexpected things that happen during travel. So don't leave home without knowing where you'll pee, where you'll stretch your legs, where you'll take your mental health time out. Know where you can make that happen on the road and be mentally prepared for those stops and starts. While we're on the topic of mindset, let's prepare ourselves for another stressor on vacation, and that is when your reality isn't keeping up with your expectations. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Things aren't always going to go according to plan. Shocker. When vacation reality doesn't meet your vacation expectations, this leads to disappointment and stress. We even have a name for it, and it's called the vacation paradox. Studies show that anticipation for your vacation and memories about your vacation are more pleasurable than the vacation itself. So let's chat about how you could use that to your advantage. Anticipatory joy, or the joy that you get thinking about a future event, can be leveraged as soon as you start thinking about a new vacation. So even before you book it, you start having some pleasure related to engaging in that vacation activity. Think about your upcoming vacation often. This is a psychological strategy called the savoring effect, and I made an entire video on it, and I'll link it up above. Secondly, studies show that people tend to remember an experience based on the peak of that experience and the end of that experience. Not really the whole thing, but just these 2 points. It wouldn't be one of my videos without a behavioral science nerd break, so here it is. The most famous published study looking at this effect examined people's feelings about colonoscopies. In the study published in 1996, participants undergoing colonoscopies were asked to rate their pain every 60 seconds throughout the experience. Later, they were asked to recall their overall experience of pain. The study found that participants' recollections of the pain they experienced were significantly influenced by the peak, the most intense level of pain, and the end, the pain level at the conclusion of the procedure, rather than the total duration of the procedure. This is known as the peak end rule, and what this means for vacations is that vacations with a few highlights and a pleasant ending might be remembered more fondly than one with consistently mild enjoyment throughout. This is why I plan my vacations around 1 or 2 major events. I limit my daily agendas to just one main thing, and I plan to have a blast blowout last day. For my trip to Japan next year, I've booked a fancy hotel for our final night in the country, and I also spent the big bucks, actually it was credit card points, on booking a direct business class flight back home. This maximizes the chances that I'm going to have a pleasant flight experience, which gives me the highest probability that I'll have a smooth flight back home, which ensures that the trip ends with the highest probability of a good flight experience. Because I know that how the trip ends has the ability to impact how I feel and how I remember the trip in its entirety. Remember that memories of vacation can produce joy for years to come, so it helps to create these highlights and happy endings. All right, let's move on to post-vacation stress. A study published in the Journal of Travel Research, yes, that's a real thing, described post-vacation blues or post-vacation syndrome as that bummed out feeling some people get after coming home from vacation. And who can blame you? The transition coming back from vacation, back to work or your regular routine can involve adjusting to regular schedules, catching up on missed work, or it can just feel shitty and overwhelming. Psychologists believe that post-vacation blues are likely sparked by that sharp contrast between the relaxation of vacation and the demands of everyday life, which is yet another reason to plan. When planning your vacation schedule, consider planning in a buffer day between when you're back from vacation and when you need to jump back into daily life. There's nothing that I like more than coming back from vacation on a Thursday, taking Friday off, and then having the entire weekend to look forward to. There's also a financial bonus to planning your vacation around traveling on these less popular days. It can be more affordable and less crowded at the airports if you choose to travel on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. All right, we gotta get back to work at some point, so let's talk about that. This is where you're really gonna thank your past self if you've set up the appropriate points of contacts, you've delegated tasks in your absence, and you've set up appropriate expectations for your behavior upon your return. The key here is to ease your way back into work. Sadly, a study published in the journal Applied Research in the Quality of Life found that the happiness and reduced stress we feel from vacations are often short-lived, and these mental health gains can decrease once individuals return to their daily routines. This might have something to do with what psychologists call hedonic set points, and how our happiness tends to creep back to pre-vacation levels post-vacation. If you're interested in a full video on that, leave a comment in the comment section down below that says happiness set point, or just leave a smiling emoji. One of the reasons that we went through the trouble of setting that email away message was to ask people to extend you a bit of grace as you return from your vacation. But it's also important that you give yourself that same amount of grace. Don't expect that you're gonna be right on top of everything the moment you hit the ground. Give yourself the same grace that you're asking of other people and ease back into the work groove. All right, let's go back outside of work. One way to prolonged happiness outside of work is to share your vacation experiences with other people. This leverages the joy that you get from reminiscing or thinking back on pleasurable experiences that you had during your vacation. Remember way back in the 70s when people used to come back from vacation with slideshows of their vacation? Well, they were onto something. They were increasing the joy and pleasure that they get from vacation by thinking back on the fun times that they experienced, even if it was just a few days ago. Now, if you're really lucky, you might be able to do one of my favorite things to do to combat post-vacation blues. In fact, sometimes I do this in the airport on my way home, and that is to have something else to look forward to. It doesn't necessarily need to be a new vacation, although sometimes that is what I'm doing, is planning my next vacation as I'm coming home from my last one. But having something to look forward to allows you to engage in that anticipatory pleasure that you get from looking forward to something. Now, I've been planning my trip to Japan in my head for the last 2 years as I've been saving up for that trip. I'm just trying to squeeze out all the joy that I can get from it. There are 2 major stressors that we didn't cover in this video. The first is what to bring with you on vacation and who you're with on vacation. That could both be a significant source of stress, which is why I made these 2 videos right here on how to pack for a stress-free vacation and how to handle difficult people while you're on vacation. I'll see you over there.